dancing fearless.
The other part of the path is the practice of pure thinking. The science path does require the daily practice of pure thinking. Here's a quote from the Philosophy of Freedom. It says, "The West no longer demands pious exercises and ascetic practices to attain knowledge. It does require, however, a sincere willingness to prepare for science by withdrawing oneself a while from the immediate impressions of life and entering the realm of pure thought." So along with learning and applying the principles to advance on the path of freedom, it also requires a practice of entering the realm of pure thought. Now, here's a short little video a couple-minute video I was going to play, which shows a recent scientific discovery of intuitive insight, which is related to the entering the realm of pure thought. But this, I'll show you this video and then we could discuss it.
What is intuition? Intuition is the immediate apprehension of a thought. The form in which thought first appears in consciousness we will call intuition. Intuition is essential for free thinking and action. To gain knowledge of reality requires conceptual intuition. To gain moral freedom also requires being capable of conceptual intuition. What neuroscientists have recently discovered is that intuitive insight occurs in the right temporal lobe of the brain, located just above the ear. This is a special place in the brain where conceptual knowledge is active. Conceptual activity occurs here, such as giving meaning to things, generalizations, word meanings, abstract concepts like truth, and connecting concepts in new creative ways. The aha moment occurs in the conceptual region of the brain. This is recorded as a burst of gamma brainwave energy. Gamma waves indicate enhanced thinking, increased intelligence, improved focus, increased energy, and result in more tolerance and compassion. They also found that the brain prepares itself before the insight happens. A moment before the gamma burst of enhanced thinking, there is an alpha brainwave burst. Alpha waves restrict visual inputs. The alpha wave burst prepares the brain to receive the insight by restricting external information and allowing the space for a deeper looking within. Neuroscience doesn't realize it, but this fact is what makes human freedom possible. Let's compare the alpha wave burst that diminishes the flow of outside information with what it says in the Philosophy of Freedom. The essence of thinking has a two-part function. First, it represses the human organization. Then it appears in the space now available. Even the first of these, the repression of the human organization, is a result of thinking activity.
What I just recorded was scientific evidence of an experience that we want to experience through pure thinking. In that video, it showed that there's a part of the brain where conceptual thinking occurs, which is where we want to enter the realm of pure thought. And within that region, intuitive insight occurs, which they've shown with their instruments. I'm just presenting the scientific view that there is such a place and experience. Now, here's something from the Philosophy of Freedom. The least honest are those who read the Philosophy of Freedom as they would any other book, and then flatter themselves that they have really taken in thoughts it contains. They keep on reading strings of words without anything coming out of it that might be likened to the striking of steel on flint. Now, this is how Steiner put that experience that they had discovered scientifically, the moment of intuition. So that's the scientific side. Now, this is the experience side of how it can be experienced by a person. Steiner calls it the striking of steel on flint. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because that's kind of a goal of study of the reading of the Philosophy of Freedom, to have an experience like this, which is critical to the Philosophy of Freedom and the path of the Philosophy of Freedom, because it's this intuitive insight, this impulse of the striking of steel on flint that is very empowering. It leads to creative insights, creative thinking, free thinking, and ethical action. It propels ethical action because it's very energizing and creates a clarity. The reading of the Philosophy of Freedom should not be a mere reading. It should be an experiencing with inner shocks, tensions, and resolutions.
To me, that's the image I get of striking steel on flint. Yeah, like he writes, inner shocks. It's like you have to work hard at it. Everybody knows what it feels like to suddenly, have an insight.
Of course, the important point here is that we're studying the Philosophy of Freedom, and often we can get into a thing where it's like reading strings of words without anything coming out of it. The book is specially written and specially formed and shaped to help this process of bringing out these intuitive insights. The book is written for that and hoping for that. That's why we're entering into pure thinking. In fact, if you're on any path of freedom, the issue that you're dealing with is our conditioned nature, our habits of thought, our conditioning, all of that. It has to be overcome, and it needs a certain power to overcome this. The Philosophy of Freedom, the power to overcome that is this striking of steel on flint of the intuitive experience. That has the power to overcome it.